Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, a sprawling city of more than 1.5 million people, a city defined by history, sports, and cheesesteaks. But May 13th, 1985 is often overlooked in the city's history.
I've just been advised that we have new videotape of the episode that apparently ended, we think ended, the move situation tonight, the dropping of an incendiary device. And let's take a careful look at this. 5:27 p.m. State Police helicopter drops it. There is the explosion. As you can see, a very dramatic explosion that occurs 30 seconds and really rips into the move compound. There you see the bunker, which soon will go up in flames. And that was the explosion close up. Now, if there's anybody there, standing there, it's obvious they couldn't survive that explosion. Miles Moore, he's live in the newsroom right now. Bill?
Well, Larry, the first sign of an adult member of MOVE came tonight after police removed Ramona Africa from the house on Osage Street. She was taken to Misericordia Hospital in West Philadelphia, where she refused treatment for a second-degree burn. Then police took her to police headquarters, where homicide detectives are questioning her right now.
It was meant that we were closest to the door to come out, which we tried to get out twice. It got to the point where it was getting really hot in there. We realized the house was on fire, that this was smoke, not tear gas, you know, and we tried to get out of the house, get our children, our animals out of the house.
How many humans were in the house?
It was 13 of us, you know. 6 adults and 5 children were literally burnt to death. Me and Bertie survived. And like I said, you know, I know that was not by accident.
Founded in 1972 by John Africa, MOVE started out as a naturalist movement, with its members opting to protest for animal rights initially, while also growing their own vegetables in their small inner-city backyards. Using garbage as compost drew unwanted smells and rodents, angering neighbors. In 1978, neighbors in the Powhatan Village section of Philadelphia complained of MOVE's loud messages aired over bullhorns from their compound at 311 North 33rd Street. After several complaints, police and the fire department used water hoses to flush the MOVE members from the home. When police tried to enter the home, shots were fired, killing Officer James Ramp. In all, 9 MOVE members were charged in his death.
The owner of the house wanted them out, so he supported everybody. He supported the police and the city, you know, getting rid of them because it was his house. And he had been using it as a rental property. So anyway, meantime, August 1 comes. There's several days of negotiating, et cetera, and by August 8th, the police and the fire department come, and they start to deliver this volley of water into the house, and they train it on the various parts of the building, but especially in the basement. And so what happens is that the water fills up the basement and starts filling up the basement, and then the water will go off. And after the water went off the first time is when there was one of the MOVE members shot Officer James Ramp. Now, myself and Norman Lono, a photographer, was just above Ramp in this apartment, watching out the 3rd floor window down, and I could see Ramp get killed. And Lono was taking photographs of it from the bathroom. Now, earlier, the police had come through the apartment and looked around and, you know, could see no one. I was hiding in a broom closet initially, and Lono was behind a shower curtain in the bathroom. But once this started, we were reporting I was on the phone because there was a phone in the kitchen, and so I was on the phone describing what was going on as it was going on. And Will Williams, who was the night city editor who stayed through this episode, was taking notes, and Lono was shooting photos. So after Ramp gets shot, the fire department starts, this deluge of water again, so that they could get Ramp out of there. Okay, and then when the water stops, it started and stopped a couple times, but at one point the water stops, and out of the basement crawls the MOVE people. There were 12 people in the house at the time. Only 9 were later charged in the incident. But one of the ones who was considered a leader, not the leader, but a leader, was Delbert or Africa. Now, I had been covering MOVE on a daily basis from 77 on. I did a series on them. I did backgrounds on them. I talked to their parents. I talked to other family members. I talked to people who had been in the organization and had left. So it wasn't that I was just covering this one incident or 2 incidents. I had done an enormous amount of reporting on background and on what they were saying, etc.
MOVE's belief is one thing: life, respect for, reverence for, protection of all life without categories. Human life, animal life, plant life, marine life, the water that we cannot live without, no matter how much champagne you can afford, the air that you cannot live without, the earth that you cannot live without, whether it's for mobility, because our mobility is coordinated with the earth, not with a plane, not underwater, but with the earth. And when you understand the all importance of life, of everything that's alive, the sun, the moon, all of it, everything that's alive, then you're protective of it. You understand that you have to be suicidal to allow and accept the poisoning of the earth that you have to eat from, the air that you have to breathe, the water that you must have to drink. To allow life to be poisoned, life that you cannot live without, is suicidal.
Before the May 13th, 1985 bombing, Mayor Wilson Goode, the city's first black mayor, and Police Chief Gregor Sambor agreed to get the MOVE members from their home by issuing arrest warrants for members wanted on various charges. While Goode was traveling back to Philadelphia from a weekend speaking engagement in Virginia, Sambor enlisted 2 police officers with bomb-making experience to create a device to use to drop from a helicopter to scare MOVE from their home in the 6200 block of Osage Avenue. Goode was not informed of the explosives. When the initial plan did not work, the bomb was used, killing 11 of the 13 MOVE members inside. Ramona Africa and a child, Birdie Africa, were the only 2 survivors.
these homes to start burning.
You're telling me that the homes on the other side of Osage Avenue may be on fire?
That's correct. There's white smoke coming from several roofs of the homes on the other side of Osage.
Any efforts to contain those small blazes before they get out of control?
No, most of the water is being aimed at the homes on the roof side.
Okay, and how many fire trucks are there in the area that you can see right now? Of course, you can't see 62nd Street. We understand that.
Right, I cannot see any fire trucks at all. All I can see are the water shooting up at the flames.
When the bomb dropped, you were inside the home. How did you get out?
All I can say is it was a miracle. It was meant for me and Birdie Africa, the little boy that survived. It was meant for us to get out. I can't explain everything, but I do understand that John Africa made me Minister of Communication. I know he knew what he was doing. I didn't understand it. I had never spoke publicly or wrote letters to politicians, or I wasn't even an activist, really, before working in housing, and that was right before MOVE, you know. So I didn't understand what Minister of Communication meant, but I found out after May 13th.
This government ain't playing no games with black people. Y'all know that, don't you? You know, I thought long and hard about what I was going to say when I got up here. I don't know whether you know it or not, but this is my first speaking engagement since I've been released from prison. I've done media interviews, but this is my first speaking engagement. And I thought long and hard about what I was going to say. But after coming in here and seeing you, you know, I know we're all family, so we just gonna talk, you know. We just gonna get down to the real nitty-gritty, you know. That's right. You know, what's happening with the MOVE organization is that we are revolutionaries, true revolutionaries, and we don't make no apologies for that. You know, we don't back off of that word revolution at all. And we don't back off of it because we know that at this time, more than any other time, you know, revolution is necessary.
More than 60 homes in the 6200 block of Osage Avenue were destroyed in the bombing. There were no more casualties since police evacuated the homes prior to dropping the bomb. In November 1985, a commission was developed to investigate the bombing. The commission would denounce the use of a bomb against the radical group. Wilson Goode publicly apologized for the bombing, and in 1996, a federal jury ordered the city to pay Ramona Africa $1.5 million. The jury said the city used excessive force and violated MOVE's constitutional protections against unreasonable search and seizure.
I can tell you there is no person who is without blame in this situation, in the second MOVE. No person.